Hello everyone, and welcome to our ranking of the Mario Super Sluggers OST. Every single song in this game ranked. We're super excited to get this one out for you all. We've been working on it for a while, debating between, each of the stadium songs and each of the overworld songs, and we really hope that you guys agree with our list. But, of course, if you do or if you don't, make sure to leave a comment and let us know. Now, this list is not going to include a lot of the very short jingles that this game has, which it has a ton of them. And personally, I think the sound design in this game is really good, and a lot of those jingles are really fun to listen to, but we just couldn't really find a place for them on this list. Let's not waste too much time on the intro. Without further ado, let's start with number 21. In number 21, comes in the last, and unfortunately least, Peach Ice Garden Overworld theme. There are a few themes in this game that I would describe as a little bit grating to the ear. Definitely, maybe still a little bit catchy, but overall, if you're playing it loud, it's a little bit painful to listen to. And the Overworld theme for the Peach Ice Garden Stadium in story mode definitely fits into that category. It's very repetitive. It's based upon the same, Peach Castle theme we've heard in so many Mario games up until this point. And it's just not my favorite tune. It's still okay, and I would hesitate to say that there's any theme that's truly bad, but definitely deserves last place in this ranking. And coming up right in its tail, in number 20th, is the Overworld theme for Yoshi Park. I would say this and Peach Ice Garden Overworld definitely come neck and neck for the worst. I would say this one is just as grating, very loud and very saccharine sweet melody, but it only barely wins because the theme that it remixes is a little bit less overplayed than the standard fare in every single Mario game Peach's Castle theme. But I don't know, it doesn't do too much better either, which is why it gets placed solidly into 20th place. Now, for a game like Mario Super Sluggers, which must have gotten a budget that was completely dwarfed by any mainline 3D Mario game, it's somewhat surprising that it only takes 2 songs before we get to what I would call a very, very solid tune in the list of all of the game's OST. And that tune is going to be Daisy Cruiser. Now, Daisy Cruiser is really solid, and I really do like listening to it, but it's just not quite as memorable for me as most of the rest of the game's OST. It's well designed, and it certainly sounds like a cruiser, which is an awesome place to have a baseball game, and definitely a cool design stadium. But unfortunately, the tune sounds really MIDI, it's filled with MIDI sounding instruments. The trombone and the flute each just sound straight out of some kind of downloadable package that you might use on a 20-year-old audio editor on Windows 98 or something, which really brings the song down. I think that if they had had a real orchestra play it like they did with a lot of the Mario Galaxy tunes, it would do a lot better. But as it stands, Daisy Cruiser, great tune, still 19th. And up next, in number 18, is Wario City. Now, Wario City runs into a number of the same issues as the previous one on our list, Daisy Cruiser, in that the instruments definitely sound very MIDI. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but in the case of Wario City and Daisy Cruiser, both of which have a pretty prominent solo section right in the middle, you can definitely hear that shine through, and I think it kind of detracts from the quality of the song. I also think that this tune, again as the previous one, just feels a little bit less inspired, and especially in comparison to the Overworld version of this theme, which we will hear later on in this list. I think they could have done a lot better to make this feel a lot more exciting and just really invigorating, like we might want from the intensity that is a Mario Super Sluggers match. It kind of pains me to put this one at number 17, because Instant Replay is super fun whenever you hear it, super catchy, and you know that something exciting happens whenever you hear this tune play. However, it is also really repetitive, a pretty short loop, and compared to a lot of the other fabulous tunes in this game, it just doesn't quite match up, and you're generally going to skip through it because you're going to want to get to the rest of the action. But whenever you do listen to it, in the middle of an instant replay, you know something fun happened, and I think instant replay is deserving of at least being above the tunes that we've listed so far. The nighttime theme. Perhaps one of the rare tunes in Mario Super Sluggers that I would genuinely describe as calming. So it definitely sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the rest of the OST. Now this tune sounds really good, and it's very peaceful, and I love how it's a nice calm, remix of the daytime theme, and it fits with the nighttime, aura very well. But it just doesn't quite reach the same punchy heights as the rest of the OST, and while it is good to have a little bit of variety, it is a relatively short loop, and it's tough to beat the rest of this list. It's just hard to top most of what we have here because it's all so good. Number 15, Toy Field. Now, Toy Field certainly uses a lot of MIDI instruments like we've been harping about this whole list. And again, I think if they had a little bit larger of a budget, they could have played a lot of these tunes with a real band or orchestra. Real good things would happen. Maybe in a Mario Super Sluggers, sequel, they will go the extra mile with that. But Toy Field is just about the catchiest jingle or tune that one could ever ask for a stadium like Toy Field. I mean, you listen to it. I mean, Beckett probably listened to it for hours and hours when he was grinding the 10,000 points Toy Field, and probably got a little old there, but honestly, it's kind of a bop. Now, Bowser Jr. Playroom stands out to me because there's nothing like it that I've heard in any other Mario game. It is a ragtime theme that just somehow fits so perfectly in with the whole Bowser Jr. Playroom atmosphere, like the yellow colors and the crazy antics that go on the stadium. And for that, I kind of love it. And it's tough to put it this low, but it does, unfortunately, sometimes get a little bit tiresome to listen to, especially since that stadium can be a little bit frustrating. But the melody is super catchy, and the bass line is amazing, and I think that Nintendo should try cool things like this more often, personally. Now, the next two tunes are actually very, very similar, and it was really hard to choose which one should go first, but number 13 is Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion is a remix of the very well-known main theme from Luigi's Mansion, and I really do like what they've done with this remix. It fits very well for baseball, it gets pretty intense, and is a slow ramp-up, and it sounds very good. I think they've done a good job with it. There's not a whole lot more to say about it, but I think it solidly deserves 13th. And number 12, again for many of the same reasons as the previous one, Peach Ice Garden. Now, Peach Ice Garden, the stadium, is very frustrating to play on, but Peach Ice Garden, the theme, actually I think maybe one of my favorite iterations of the Peach Ice Garden theme, probably behind Partners in Time. Because that's just so catchy and super fun. But this is the Peach Castle theme on steroids. This is amped up to the max. It's actually a super long loop, and the OST version of this tune is like the longest of any in a Mario game. Like 2 loops through it takes 5 minutes because there's just so much buildup, and the tune just reaches incredible and amazing heights when it reaches its climax. So I definitely think that what they've done with it for a baseball game is fantastic. It is just a remix though, which is why it does get 12th, but and it is a little bit repetitive as well, because even though it's building up, it's still playing sort of the same thing over and over again. So 12th it gets, but it's a pretty solid 12. And in number 11, a theme that we've probably all heard like a ton of times just because of by virtue of playing this game so often, but a pretty great one for what it is. The daytime theme, the main menu theme. You gotta have a good one if you want your game to be memorable, and it certainly works out here. I love the bass line on this, by the way. That's my new favorite thing, and ever since I've started listening to that part of it, it just it's increased the quality of the tune so much for me and the memorableness. So I think it deserves the spot it gets. Spot 11, pretty respectable for a tune in this game. And coming in at number 10, the top 10 we finally reached. To be top 10 in this OST is a high achievement, and Game Results definitely reaches that. This is the tune you hear, even if you've lost, you hear it too. But once you've won a hard-fought battle in Mario Super Sluggers, this tune is there to greet you, and it is just so jovial, so inspiring, so celebratory, and it pulls off all those things. Unlike Instant Replay, which is about a similar duration of loop, I think that this one is it's just the meaning behind it is so much more impactful, and I think that it's a little bit catchier and more well designed. So good work, Game Results. Number 9, DK Jungle Overworld. The top 3 Overworld themes in this game are so much better than the bottom 2 of Yoshi Park and Peach Ice Garden. It's kind of, I don't know, it's really funny how big the discrepancy is. But DK Jungle Overworld it's a absolute jam. I don't know. They have somehow taken the Kong theme and they've made it somehow chill and relaxed, while still amping you up for adventure and making you think about what's maybe hidden in the jungle depths. It's a pretty cool tune. So, in the top 10 part of the list is when we start to listen to remixes that are not only fabulous remixes in their own right, like Peach Ice Garden or Luigi's Mansion, but also maybe the best crafted rendition of that theme in its entirety. In this case, we have the Yoshi story theme, except made for baseball, and I think that they did an amazing job with it personally. They combined a number of Yoshi leitmotifs, and they've created a fabulous song, which is why I think Yoshi Park easily deserves top 10, and in this case, number 8. In number 7, we have a tune that I would classify as a hidden gem, more so than any other tune in this game. And it's kind of because it sits beneath all of our noses, in a game known for otherwise bright and blaring songs. It's the character select theme. And this tune isn't necessarily one you might listen to upon booting up the game and be like, wow, this is my favorite song in the OST. No, it mostly is that it sounds just as catchy and motivating on the 1000th listen as it does on the first. This song may never get old, and that is a high praise for basically any tune. I listen to it still after picking characters in this game for so many years, and I think it sounds great. And that is truly amazing. It's a good song. It's very catchy. Sit back and listen to it every now and then. I don't know. It's fun. Now in number 6, Bowser's Castle. This tune is a remix of the new Super Mario Bros. Castle theme, and it is great. They changed the time signature from a 3/4 waltz style, even though I wouldn't say the original was a waltz, but to 4/4. But it's great. It's very fitting of Bowser Castle. It's one of my favorite versions of Bowser's Castle in the Mario franchise. And I think it suits baseball very well, so nice job. In number 5 is the serene and calming Mario Stadium Overworld. Nintendo has successfully combined a beach theme with a Mario theme with a baseball theme here. And this is one of the 2 themes where they've pulled that off, the other being the actual stadium theme. And I don't know how they did it, but it sounds fabulous. It's especially you know, the overworld theme, it feels like you're just sort of relaxing on the beach with a game of baseball, going on in the distance, and I'm very much here for it. I think that Nintendo has pulled off something great with this, and I don't know. I'm really glad that they made Mario Stadium a beach theme rather than just like a boring baseball theme. It gives it a little bit more life and makes the stadium even better. Number 4, Wario City Overworld. I described this tune in a past video as sounding like you were about to be the victim of, the mob. And I think that sort of still applies in a funny way. It's very catchy, it's very well made as well, and I think it easily beats out the actual stadium version of this theme by so much. And it makes me wish that they had kind of done something a little bit better with the stadium theme, just because the basic melody is so catchy and just definitely the best overworld theme by far. Sounds awesome. Oh, DK Jungle. They've done good work here. I haven't played a ton of DK games, to be completely honest, but of the versions of the DK theme that I've heard, I'm a little biased, but it's my favorite. It's so upbeat, it suits the nighttime theme of the stadium so well. It was my favorite tune in the whole game for a long, long time, but I don't know, it gets beaten out by a couple tunes, but it absolutely thumps. It's really good. I don't know what wizardry Nintendo came up with when they created Mario Stadium, but as I said in the Overworld version, the ability to combine Mario, a song so distinctly Mario, with the steel drums of a beach tune, and with just such baseball energy, it's fantastic. And I think Mario Stadium is definitely the best of all the stadium themes, for sure. It's among the liveliest of the tunes as well. It's super exciting. It's upbeat the whole time. It really gets me going every time I hear it, and that's definitely a win in my book. So Mario Stadium easily earns number 2. But what could be number 1? I don't know how many of you saw this coming, but there's a reason why Chiz Plays riffs off this intro at the beginning of every video that he makes. It speaks for itself. And every time I hear it, I know that I'm in for the time of my life. Thank you all so much for watching. It was a blast to make this list, and also really difficult, because this game just has a really, really solid OST and really punches above its weight in terms of the kind of game that it is and what they've done with the soundtrack. So leave a comment, let us know if you agreed, let us know if you disagreed, and let us know what types of videos we should make in the future. We are always looking for new ideas. We have a lot in store for you guys, but we're really excited to see where this channel takes us, and always are glad to have your support. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, every last bit helps, and have a very nice rest of your day. Take care.